I'm expecting this video to get old very, very quickly as I record it now at 10:30 on Saturday morning. We got some bad news and we got some good news. But I should probably say from the outset, the good news I'm finding a little bit difficult to believe because I'm a West Ham fan and because I'm a pessimist. The bad news, I'm finding it very, very easy to believe. Not just because I'm a West Ham fan and I'm a pessimist, but it appears that something that was predicted has come to pass in the way that we are trying to recruit players in this transfer window. Sounds a bit cryptic and tenuous, doesn't it? Let's get to that. We'll do the bad news first. That's how we... Whenever anybody says, what do you want, the bad news? I've got some good news and some bad news. What do you want first? For me, it's the bad news. It's a bit like taking a roast dinner and eating the Brussels sprouts first so as you can enjoy the Yorkshire pudding, right? Anyway, so that's what we're doing. We're doing Brussels sprouts, all right, but you know what I mean. We're getting that out of the way now. Ardon Jashari. Let me just read this post from Fabrizio Romano. He said there was a call from a Premier League club regarding Ardon Jashari. I can tell you that club is West Ham. The English club were ready to make a proposal to both Bruges and Jashari's agents. And they thanked and declined. He's heading to Milan. There's a really, really important part in that. The English club were ready to make a proposal to Bruges and Jashari. Because as the understanding is that they basically said, we're ready to go now. Now we're ready to do this. Now, rewind a little bit and cast your mind back to not so long ago. I wrote an article, I did a video, basically, which some interpreted as being critical of Carl McCauley. It wasn't. I said so at the time. But it was that Carl McCauley was meeting agents and going and meeting players and their agents without the ability to make a bid. He wasn't being given any money. This was very critical of the club, and it just looks terrible of the club. And now it's come to pass. So he was meeting with agents saying, look, we're interested in your player. In some instances, Graham Potter was even calling the player, right? I don't know if he called Jashari, couldn't tell you that at all. But he was calling the player and saying, this is where you fit into my system. We very much see you as a part of the plan. Whatever that sort of stuff might have been, right? Jashari was certainly one of those. He's been a target for West Ham for a month, right? Now, obviously, we've just sold Mohamed Kudus to Tottenham Hotspur. We got a little bit of money. So it would appear now we've basically got in touch and said, that deal we spoke about, Jashari to West Ham, we're ready to do it now. I mean, it doesn't take much to read between the lines in what Romano was saying, which is they've said, no, sorry, he's heading to Milan now. We don't know. Look, here's something we don't know. Maybe, just maybe, if the board had put some money in and ploughed their own money in to cover the period where we were waiting for money to come in from the likes of Kudus, if they'd have put their money in and made a cash injection at the start of June, maybe, just maybe, if we'd have bid for Jashari then, maybe Milan would have come in and said, actually, we're taking him. We don't know. But, undoubtedly, I think it's fair to say that us delaying it by a month has put us at a disadvantage. That's being kind. What I actually think is that it's cost us this player. Now, I'm going to say something that I'm going to say a lot throughout this transfer window because we're being linked with a lot of players I don't know. I hadn't heard of Jashari until we were linked with him. Obviously, I've gone and looked now. We're lucky enough on Hammers Chat Patreon to have something called Y-Scout, which is basically the global scouting software. I had a look at him since. Looks to be a really, really good player. And I know there's other people who have watched the European game far more closely than I do, say this is a good player, right? But I don't know. Well, I don't know whether he's a good or a bad player. What I do know, and I said this yesterday, and I said it about Magic Diouf, that Graham Potter thinks he's a good player. Carl McCauley thinks he's a good player. So once we've committed to this project, you have to go and get him. You have to go and back your manager. We've missed out. We've missed out on this player because of that. And that's my firm belief. And he won't be the only one. Quite possibly Habib Diarra was another one like that. We just haven't... Well, we've had it confirmed by Fabrizio Romano that West Ham are in for Diarra. We were just at such a disadvantage because of the way we have done business. This must be very, very frustrating for Graham Potter. This must be very frustrating for Carl McCauley. But now we're ready to do business, right? The next player I'm about to talk about is somebody I know about, and somebody that is a very, very good player. And before I do that, I just mentioned Y-Scout. Now, we're able to get Y-Scout because of our patrons, basically. I know Gio covered it yesterday. We're able to upload videos every day on both channels because of our patrons. Take that away, we would not be able to do it. And there's a lot of people who are really kind, and they leave things like super chats on videos, do all sorts of wonderful things to support Hammers Chat. But the best way that you can support Hammers Chat is by joining our Patreon. We've got a 7-day free trial on there, or we've got 3 tiers basically. We've got 3 levels of membership on there. The bottom one is £3.60 a month. That is it. For £3.60 a month, you can not only support Hammers Chat, but you can also unlock a load of additional content, because we do, well, funny enough, I uploaded a video last night over there. Myself and Gio in a minute are about to record Mug of Tea, which is going on to Patreon as well. It's where we answer questions. We've got loads of podcasts, loads of articles, loads of competitions, loads of additional videos on there. We gave away over £8,000 worth of prizes. We've got prizes at the moment just for being, I can't hold them up like Gio did in this video, but we've got some match-worn Mark Noble boots, a signed Mark Noble shirt, signed Mark Noble armband, lots and lots and lots of stuff over there. We just give away every single month, as well as ticket. Giving away a ticket to a West Ham game is probably a punishment, but there you go. You can sign up for a punishment if you want. The link's in the description below. It's Hammers Chat. No, it's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. That's the one. Or you could just search Hammers Chat Patreon on Google and you'll find it there. Give it a 7-day free trial. See if you like it. If you do, hopefully you stick around and and hopefully you enjoy what's over there. But anyway, I'm not going to take up any more of your time talking about that stuff now. Okay, so the second link is Douglas Luiz, and this is the part of the video I expect to get old very quickly, because I want to believe it, but I'm not sure I do. And if this had been a report from a dubious, generic football website that covers every single team, this would be part of a 60-second roundup. This wouldn't be getting a segment of the video. But it was from La Gazzetta dello Sport, which is the biggest sports newspaper in Italy. That and Marca, I think, are the 2 biggest, most respected sports dailies in world football. They're not clickbaity. They're just a respected, established Italian newspaper, and they're saying that West Ham are close to concluding a deal for Douglas Luiz. Now, I might have the details. In fact, let me just scroll down here. If I can find it quickly, I'll tell you. If not, I'll tell you as I remember it. Oh, there you go. West Ham have had contact with Juventus to bring Douglas Luiz to London. Negotiations seem to be nearing a conclusion. This is the Gazzetta dello Sport saying they're nearing a conclusion. The 2 clubs are working on an agreement that provides a loan, and they said apparently a €10 million loan with an obligation to buy between 20 and 30 million euros, right? So that would make this between a 30 and 40 million euro deal. Now, just to get the finances out of the way, this would make sense for West Ham, because it would mean only a 10 million euro outlay now. It's on the never again. But irrespective of whether you think Jean-Claude Todibo has turned out to be a good player at West Ham or not, that deal was a good one, because it offset it to the next season. If we can do that again, I would suggest that's one thing West Ham do well. I slag us off quite a lot in terms of our transfer dealings. That's one thing we do well, is we're able to offset payments. We have to, really, because we borrow money all the time. But if we could get this done with only paying 10 million down now, great. The player himself, he's fantastic. He's amazing. I mentioned yesterday, and I mentioned on Patreon actually as well when I did my video yesterday, what we really need is some players who can go straight into the first team and are better than what we've got in their positions. I am not worried about Jared Bowen, and I am not worried about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They are top quality players, absolute top quality. We have some other Premier League standard players. And maybe Max Kilman would be one. I think Füllkrug is hard. Füllkrug is a quality player, but he is injury prone. But he can certainly do a job in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not calling him top quality. I'm not calling Max Kilman top quality. We would hope Todibo might be. And I think Edson Alvarez probably is, and I think we've got a match winner in Thomas Souček. But when I look around the squad, I don't see too many. I think it'd be very hard to get a player that would knock Jared Bowen out of the team. I think it'd be very hard to get a player that would knock Aaron Wan-Bissaka out of the team. The question is, can we knock Alvarez out of the team, or can we knock Souček out of the team? Things like that. Can we knock Nicholas Füllkrug out of the team? And that's what I think we need to do. We need to bring in players that are better than them. Yes, by all means, get young players. That's good. But Douglas Luiz walks straight into our first team, straight into it, and improves the team. You don't. This is the thing. I say I know him. You don't need me to tell you who this guy is. We all know who he is. And if you remember, Aston Villa did not want to sell him. I think they had to do so. Basically, he was their Jacob Ramsey, but Jacob Ramsey was meant to be this year. He was the guy that had to be offloaded so as they could meet PSR requirements. They had to get someone out before anyone else came in. I just think he would. I was going to say, no, I will use the word metamorphosise our midfield. He's exactly what we need. I'm glad we're looking at him. I'm glad we're going for him. I am finding it hard to believe, though. I'm finding it's hard to hope, and it's hard to trust, and it's hard to. You get let down, don't you, at West Ham? If you allow yourself to believe, and if you allow yourself to dream, you sort of get let down. And I'm very aware that this, what I think is a video in two parts, which is the bad news and the good news, could just be the bad news and a false report. I don't think La Gazzetta dello Sport are reporting falsely. But what I should probably say is, if you stick Douglas Luiz into Google, which I did before making this video, there's a lot of stories over the last 2 days that Tottenham want him and Everton want him. And this is a concern. West Ham needs to get a deal done. You don't need me saying this stuff anymore. I have a feeling I'll be back on your screens or your phones or whatever later on today with an update on this. I'm going to put this video out there now and I guess see what happens. But yeah, there's a heavy dose of cynicism here, but some heavy cynicism and really slight optimism. Right, I'm going to go. My dog is actually looking at me through the glass door there. It's a patio door, so the dog's looking at me. Hello. Am I going to get whiffed at? No, he's been very patient, very, very patient doggy. It's very hot at the moment. It's actually cool in this cave. I'm not being. He's been in the cool there. He's just running around, so he's going to let him in here while I edit this video. He's going to chew on his stick. There it is. That's how he entertains himself when he's in the cave. Right. I'll probably be along later.